Hello everyone, welcome back to campus for the 2021-22 academic year. I'm super excited to see everyone back. My name is Eric Beecham and I'm your student government president. Student government is again so excited to see everyone back on campus this year. And we're even more excited to hear your new ideas for improving our campus. Our office is located in the BCC across from Chick-fil-A in the same room as the CAB office. Now if you'd like to stop by and talk to us, or if you see any SGA members around campus, feel free to reach out. We're willing and available to talk at any time. Now, although we've made it through the craziness of COVID last year, COVID still remains in our community and on our campus. That being said, many restrictions have been lifted this year, but I implore you be as safe as possible. The school has mandated masks inside buildings and around other people, so please wear your masks when required. Vaccines are not required, but they will prevent you from being quarantined if you are exposed to a COVID positive case. All these decisions were made for the safety of faculty and students alike, so again, I implore you, stay safe on our campus this year. This will prevent us from going back into the lockdown that we had last year and keeping restrictions away from us. Now, all of that being said, once again, have a great year. Enjoy everything you can. This year, we're looking to move on and have one of the best years we've seen on UC's campus. Among the return of fans to sporting events, a bunch of new food options, and great events for students to enjoy life on campus, we're going to have a great year. This year, we also have the opportunity to host honored guest speaker Derrick Ramsey. He's going to give our students some words of encouragement. Derrick Ramsey personifies leadership, most notably as an All-American football player and nationally recognized athletic director through his service to public office in the Commonwealth. Over the past 40 years, Ramsey has competed in the NFL, bringing home a 1981 Super Bowl ring, owned his own business, and completed his bachelor's and master's degrees. He has served in 3 universities, with accomplishments at these institutions proving his driving focus of improving academic and athletic excellence, ensuring integrity and unprecedented heights of success, and creating and fostering relationships between members of various communities with the universities he served. In 2004, Ramsey began his stint in state government as Deputy Secretary of Commerce in the Governor Fletcher administration, overseeing a $50 million budget, helping manage human resources for cabinet. He successfully brought the renowned 2010 World Equestrian Games to Kentucky. Most recently, he has served as Secretary of the Kentucky Labor Cabinet and Secretary of the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. While his accomplishments have occurred in various arenas, Ramsey's commitment to success and his gift for building consensus along the way have remained central to his legacy at each stop. Now, if you'll welcome guest speaker Derrick Ramsey.
Thank you very much, Eric, for your warm introduction and your kind words of my past. It's so great to be here at the University of the Cumberlands, just to come and speak with the young people here and to give you some insight of an old-timer, if you would. So again, thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you. I'd like to talk first about the success to our students so far to this date. You are to be congratulated, rather you're a freshman or rather you're a senior getting ready to go out into the workplace. Congratulations. What does it take to be successful in college? Well, not sure if Eric mentioned all the things that I've done, but as an athletic director, one of the things I focus on was to ensure that my athletes were graduating at a very high level. At my last institution, I took the graduation rate from 56% up to almost 80%. And that was over a 7-year period. And so that's something I'm extremely proud of. But to get to that, there's some sacrifices that have to be made. One of the things that we would do, I insisted that my athletes sit in the first 4 rows. I would also go by classes from time to time to make certain that they were there. Whether you were a 2.0 or a 4.0, you had 10 hours of study hall each week. And the interesting part about that, the 4.0s, they already did that. It was just rustling up those 2.0s and 2.5 and 3.0s to get them to that point. And after the first year, if you were above a 3.5, I reduced that down to 5 hours. But again, the young people that had those study habits, that was nothing new to them, so that was not any big deal. And so we were able to accomplish that again by these kinds of things. But more importantly, making young people understand the value of an education and what it means and how they can be used to further their lives. I want to talk briefly about our world. Our world is changing. Right in front of our eyes, it's changing. And for young people, I am so proud of some of the things that you all are doing, the movements that you're engaged in, and understanding why it's important. And we have all these social issues today, race issues today. I am so proud when I see people of all colors, in particular young people that are out front. Because without question, and you've heard this over 1,000 times, you are our future. And so it's incumbent upon you and people like you to share your ideas that change should happen. And that what happened 100 years ago and what happened 50 years ago, yes, while those things are very important, we're moving on. And so I'm very proud that all of you, black kids and white kids, old people and young people alike, are out there of all colors, of all hues. They're out there. And so for America to be as great as it can be, that's what it's going to take. For Kentucky, for the Commonwealth to be as good as it can be, it's going to take all that. It's going to take your leadership and understanding of what the world is going to look like in 10 years, in 15 years, in 25 years, 50 years, or even 100 years. It's going to be because of your leadership and where you're taking us and where you're wanting us to look like and where you're wanting us to go as a Commonwealth as well as a country. Now, Kentucky, my last job, I was Secretary of Education and Workforce. I'm very familiar with all the opportunities that are afforded here in Kentucky, and so I want to encourage each and every one of you post-graduation to continue to stay here in Kentucky. I left office in December of 2019. At that time, we had over 151,000 open jobs around the Commonwealth. We need skilled laborers. We need educated people. We need you to stay here. For Kentucky to be, as I mentioned earlier, for it to be great, it's going to take young people like yourselves with new ideas that are innovative, that want change, for us here in Kentucky to be able to compete. Many years ago, people were thinking that as we look at Kentucky, this is this big place. As we look at the United States, it's this humongous place. But what has happened because of transportation, you can be from here in Williamsburg, Kentucky, to downtown Frankfurt, Germany in less than 8 hours. You can be from here to Taiwan, here to China in less than 24 hours. So the world has shrunk. And so with that in mind, we're going to be competing internationally from this point forward. It's not just about the young people in Indiana, the young people in Ohio, the young people in Tennessee. It's international now. And so for us to be successful here in the Commonwealth, we need you to be the very best that you can be. We need you not to be afraid to think outside of the box. Wow, that's cliche-ish. But we need you to just think that anything that one would think is simple, one that would think is weird, one that would think is why is he or she thinking that? We need those kinds of thinkers. We need those kinds of people if Kentucky is going to be the great Commonwealth that I know it can be. But it won't happen without you. And what you're learning here at the University of the Cumberlands is how to compete. I'm going to say it again. You're learning how to compete. because the world itself, with this changing world, is filled with competition. And you're learning here how to compete so that we are attractive. In that last job that I told you about, as Secretary of Workforce and Education, I was sitting in meetings with businesses from all around the world. And the one thing that I heard that rings true to me to this day, they would ask two questions in particular. One question: what is your education level like here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky? Two, what are your skilled laborers like here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky? A little history for you, and I'll evidence why this is important. If you go back 30 years ago, the Commonwealth of Kentucky probably had about 3.8 million people, 3.9 million people, somewhere thereabouts. But so did Ohio, so did Indiana, as well as Tennessee, all in proximity of maybe 500,000 people or more. Fast forward to today. Today, Kentucky is 4.4 million people. Indiana, 6 million people. Ohio, 6 million or somewhere thereabouts. And Tennessee, 7 million. What has happened is we have not educated enough, we have not skilled up enough people, and so hence they've flown over us. We can change that. You can change that. By getting educated here, learning how to compete, learning how to be competitive, learning how to take care of your families. All here at the University of the Cumberlands, as well as here in the Commonwealth. These are critical things as you think about before you have your families, shortly thereafter you have your families, where. And so we need you for us to be better here in the Commonwealth. We need all of you, once you graduate, to dig your roots in and dig them in deep here. Kentucky has so much to offer. We're within a day's drive of 66% of the population of the U.S. And so we're second only to Alaska in navigable waterways. We have UPS here. We have Amazon on the north, and other companies are coming. And they're going to need people to run these businesses. They're going to need people, and we're going to need people so that other big businesses are attracted to Kentucky. It's still affordable here. Crime is not a big issue in our Commonwealth. And so these are all the things that you as an adult, one, worry about for your families to ensure their safety. Also that you're able to earn a fair wage. And so all these things are part of your successes and opportunities that you'll have. If you couldn't notice or tell, I love Kentucky. Kentucky has been great for Derrick Ramsey. Kentucky has been great for Derrick Ramsey's family. I've been in and around the state since 1974. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly that I've seen. But if it were that bad, if it were that ugly, I would not be here. And so for all these reasons, I hope that while you're getting a wonderful education, a quality education here at the University of the Cumberlands, you now become a Kentuckian like I have forever. Thank you very much. A question was asked, how was I able to parlay my athletic career into my business careers? My freshman year, 1974, I wore my jacket, my high school jacket, into the chow hall. And I was extremely proud of that jacket. because it had all city, it had all conference, it had all state, it had all American. I was feeling good about myself. Well, within 30 minutes, I saw 30 other guys with that same jacket on. And so immediately I started to think, if all of these guys have the same jacket I have, they were probably the captains of their football team in high school, as I was. How am I going to be able to get these men to follow me? Started thinking about that immediately. So the first thing I did was I went and hung that jacket up and never wore it again. And second, I enrolled and I became a cadet. I enrolled in Army ROTC, all with the point of learning how to lead men and women. I was a cadet for 3 years, and I got out my last year once I realized I was going to have a career in the NFL. But that part of my college experience helped me tremendously, because I would sit with the colonel that ran our program and we would talk strategies about war, because football in a lot of ways is war. And so I learned how to lead people. And over the years, one of the things I always tried to do was brush up on my leadership skills of being able to get people to do things. Because in football in particular, it's hot out there. And if you hadn't noticed, we got some really big linemen. And the bigger the linemen are, the more I felt safe. Those were the men that kept me standing upright. And so just learning that process there, and over the years I matured. Things that were successful, things that failed, and not being concerned or worried about failing, because so many people, when they fail, the whole world ends. No. When you continue to fail and continue to fail, the world ends. But if you learn from your mistakes, which I did, and have continued to do so over the years, has helped me tremendously. So to go from a collegiate athlete to being a professional athlete, well, again, one of the things I am a fanatic about is discipline. I believe that you show me an undisciplined player, an undisciplined person, there's your first loser, I believe. And that's not to say I'm 100%, but I'd say I'm pretty dang close. And so I worked on my skills of leadership, of being able to get people to understand, being able to get people to see what you see. Because as a leader, if you're a visionary and you're the only person that sees it, I think you're blind. It's not them, it's you. So you have to be able to get your team, your workers, whomever, to see and understand what you see. Because if I'm just rattling off stuff, and a lot of times when you're rattling, it sounds random, and so nobody's going to believe that. But when you put skin in the game, and they see that you're putting skin in the game, it's a lot easier to follow, certainly for me to follow. And so just over the years, I've enjoyed different careers, different arenas, but yet when you're a leader, it doesn't matter. You can put me wherever and I'll lead. Because as a leader, one of the things I always would tell my team, my job is to clear all the hurdles out of the way so that you can run. They're the experts, and that's who I count on. But I will clear everything so that they have an unabated path where they can just run. And I've enjoyed watching my teams over the years, be it in athletic administration, be it in governmental administration, the same thing. It's been a joy. It has been a joy of mine. I'll take it a step further. The last job I had as Secretary of Education and Workforce Development was the most rewarding job I've ever had in my life. That's inclusive of the National Football League. And I wanted to be a professional football player since I was 8 years old. But being able to go into communities and help people who were helpless feels so good. To be able to go into communities and get people to understand and see how they can see themselves out of this. Because so frequently, people where there's no hope, they're wanting to reach for things, but they don't know what to reach for. And so going in there, talking to them about apprenticeships, talking to them about jobs, talking to them about careers. And I said jobs a minute ago, but more so careers. And so it helps people see, it helps people get a different perspective, and it also helps them think that I can do this too. And so it's been such a rewarding thing for me. It's been good for my soul to be able to give back to a commonwealth that has given me so much. In closing, thank you again for allowing me to come and spend this time with you. I wish each and every one of you a prosperous and great year. I hope that this experience that you have as a collegiate person, and I know as I tell my children, this is the last time that things that you say and do will be funny. Because the day you become a graduate, an educated person, and an adult, Dad's going to look at you differently, and your parents are too. Not in a bad way, in a respectful way, that you've earned, that you have come to the next step in your lives. And so I wish you the very, very best. And to my dear friend, Dr. C, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to come and talk to your students and the students of this great university. I wish you the very best as always, my friend.